For a long time, when we talk about campus safety technology, the conversation started with one basic question. How fast can we get the alert out? And at the time, that made sense. If there's an active threat, a fire, a hazardous condition, a medical emergency, or some other disruptive event on campus, people need to know. They need to shelter. They need to evacuate. Maybe they need to avoid an area. At the end of the day, they need to take action. So, mass notification became a major part of campus emergency planning. Text messages, emails, desktop alerts, mobile apps, as well as digital signage and public address systems. And specialized hardware like blue light phones, panic buttons. Yeah, all of those tools matter. But here's the problem we don't think about. Sending the alert is not the same thing as managing the emergency. And that's where this conversation starts to change. And that's coming up next on TiPS Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NENA certified ENP. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the latest in public safety communications and technology. Today I want to discuss why the future of campus public safety is not just about notification. No, it's about orchestration. And those are very different things. Notification is only the beginning. When something happens on a campus, the alert may be the very first thing that's the visible action. But behind that alert is many larger operational problems. What actually happened? Where did it happen? Who reported it? Is the information verified? And what building is involved? Who's currently inside? And are the doors locked or unlocked? What about cameras? Are they available? And do any of the sensors in the building report anything unusual? And depending on the call type, what about 911? Has anyone called? And was campus security notified? And don't forget about facilities. Do they need to be involved? And if you've got a local emergency communication center, are they aware of what's happening? And as far as first responders, both on campus and the public, do they have all the information that they need? Yeah, that's what the real problem is. It's not just telling people that something happened, but helping everyone involved understand what's actually happening right now. Oh, and what needs to happen next? That's the difference between basic alerting and orchestration. What campus emergency orchestration really means. The people, the workflows, and the information sources that already exist in the campus environment. You see, most campuses already have many of those pieces already in place. They've got access control. They have video. They've got mass notification, and they've got indoor maps, emergency phones, as well as building systems. The facility student and staff may have panic buttons, and security likely has radios. There may have been a student app that was deployed, and there's wireless infrastructure both on a Wi-Fi and distributed antenna system available. Running on that network, you've got IoT sensors, environmental sensors, and specialty sensors like gunshot detection. And then you've got specialized solutions like visitor management or other operational systems. But in many cases, most of those systems are still operating in their own unique silo. Each one knows a lot about what it's responsible for, but none of them see the whole picture. While one system may know a door is open, another knows that a panic button was pressed. And while one system has a specific camera view, another may know the actual building layout. And while your scheduling system may know what student and staff are assigned to a particular area, another knows where first responders need to enter. That's all great information. But during an emergency, those pieces need to come together and become a story. And not a story that's written after the incident's over. That's the after-action report. No, you need the live story that's being assembled while the incident is unfolding. The Public Safety Event Package. Now, one way to think about all this is what I call the Public Safety Event Package. You see, instead of sending a single alert that says, "Emergency reported, Building A," the system takes that trigger event and starts collecting and organizing all the supporting information around the event. Exactly where's the event? What triggered it? Was it a person? Was it a sensor? Was a phone call involved? Or was it a panic button? Did it involve a door? And what about video analytics? Does it exist? And what did it see? And how many sources for this event exist? Was it one or many? You see, now the system has an understanding of what's happened, and it can begin adding context. The building name, the floor, the room, the closest entrance, maybe an indoor map with wayfinding between the entrance and the emergency, links to all the relevant camera views and access control status of the facility. Then you got things like known hazards, occupancy information, as well as the reporting party information. What other non-related but related alerts exist? And what's the confidence level in each one of these pieces of information? That's the information that provides first responders with situational awareness, as well as dispatchers, campus safety, facilities, and emergency management. Now, that's a lot of data, and it doesn't mean dumping all that data into the Emergency Communications Center. No, we already talked about that problem, because more data is not automatically more awareness. The goal is not to create that fog machine disco inside the ECC. The goal is to take fragmented information and coalesce it into something useful, something structured, something trusted, and something that supports decisions. From campus systems to NG911. So this is where it all starts to come together, and NG911 becomes incredibly important, because NG911 is not simply a new way to carry a voice call or add text messaging. No, it's a data-capable emergency service architecture. The supporting emergency services IP network is specifically designed to support the movement of emergency information and do that in ways that the legacy 911 network simply can't do. That was built for voice. But that doesn't mean voice won't matter. It always will. It's just that the future also includes location data, text, images, video, sensor information, and additional data, as well as building information and other structured incident information. And that means the campus shouldn't just be thinking about how it calls 911. That's old school legacy stuff. It should be thinking about how the campus participates in the emergency services ecosystem. Because a campus is the one assembling all this useful public safety event package information. So the next question logically becomes, how do I get all this information into the right public safety ecosystem? How's it get validated? How's it routed? And how's it shared? Oh, and some of this information is critical, so what's the protection level? And in addition, from getting from the campus environment to the public safety EZNet and in front of the dispatcher, how does it get to the first responders, who are the ones that ultimately need it? That's where this whole architecture comes together and can fall apart. The last 500 feet. And this all brings us back to one of the most important parts of the emergency response problem, the last 500 feet. Look, it's one thing to get police, fire, or EMS to the right street address, but it's another thing altogether to get them to the right door, the right floor, and the right hallway, as well as the right classroom, lab, or mechanical room. Anyone who's worked in public safety knows this problem all too well. Yeah, the address gets you close, but close is not always good enough. On a typical campus, a single address may represent multiple buildings, and that building likely has multiple entrances. Some floors may have restricted access, and a responder may arrive on one side of the building while the incident is on the other side. And when you've got a fast-moving emergency, that delay matters. Now imagine the first responder not walking in blind. They've got a map, a digital interactive map. And that map shows them the best access point. They can see where the alert originated, and they know which doors are locked and where cameras are available, providing visual information. Now they know not only where the hazard may exist, but they know where people may be sheltering. And they've got the information that campus security has already confirmed. That changes the operational environment. Not because technology replaced responders. No, because technology is preparing responders. And that's the point. Where Connex fits into this new paradigm. So this is the part of the story where companies like Connex become part of the conversation. Because the problem is not that campuses have no systems. No, the problem is those systems exist, but they need to be brought together. They need to be connected. They need to be understood, and they need to be governed. All their information needs to be added into workflows. And they've got to be empowered to share the right information with the right people at the right time. That process is what the orchestration layer does. And Connex is positioned around that idea of connecting the ecosystem. Not replacing every existing system on campus, but helping pull the information from the communication systems, the IoT devices, the network elements, and the operational platforms, as well as the human inputs, and then turning all that information into actionable public safety context. That is what the new paradigm is. And that's where the campus becomes more than a place where the emergency happened. It actually becomes part and a participant in the response. Reality check. Now, as always, I've got my reality check, because all of this doesn't just happen by magic. Unfortunately, you can't just buy a system, plug it in, turn up a few APIs, and declare victory. Wouldn't that be nice? But public safety just doesn't work that way. The information has to be collected, the information's got to be trusted, and the workflows need to be designed. That new data needs to be governed, and the maps have to be maintained, as they're the key to all the information going forward. Many cases, permissions have to be controlled, and the integration has got to be tested. You can't just turn something like this up and let it run loose. No, the ECC needs to understand what it's about to start to be receiving, and responders have to know about how to use the information and what it's going to look like. This is a large lift, but not one that's unachievable, and campus leadership needs to understand that emergency orchestration is not just another IT project. It's a critical operational public safety project. Because when the actual event happens, nobody cares how impressive the technology stack looked way back in the sales presentation. No, they want to know that the right people got the right information and it was delivered in time to make the right decisions and ultimately save a life. That is what the standard is, and there's little negotiation. The bottom line. Look, the bottom line's this. Campus safety is moving from alerting to action. Sure, notification, that's still important. But today, notification by itself is just no longer enough. The next generation of campus emergency response needs to define how well we connect people, systems, workflows, and information. It's going to be defined by how well we assemble the public safety event package, and how well we move that information into the next-gen 911 ecosystem. It's about how we'll support the ECC and how we'll inform the responders. And it's about how we're going to reduce uncertainty during the moments when uncertainty is the most dangerous thing facing everyone. Because when you've got an emergency, the goal is not simply to tell people something happened. No, the goal is to help them understand what's happening now, where it's happening, what it means, and what needs to happen next. That's campus emergency orchestration, and that's exactly where public safety is headed. This is Fletch. I hope you learned something new about the future of emergency communications. Follow me on social media and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.